Come to say goodbye, Meek. I'm leaving here.
Where are you going? Where?
I don't know yet. I haven't decided.
Mr. Frank, you can't leave Amsterdam as your home. Your business is here waiting for you, and now that the war is over...
I can't stay in Amsterdam, Meek. It has too many memories for me. Everywhere there's something. The house we lived in, the school, street organ playing out there. I'm not the person you used to know, Meek. I'm a bitter old man. Forgive me. I shouldn't speak to you that way. After all that you did for us, the suffering.
Oh, no. You can't say we suffered.
I know what you went through. You and Mr. Crawler. I'll remember as long as I live. Come, Meek.
Oh, Mr. Frank, did you see... after you left, we found this pile of papers on the floor.
Burn them.
But Mr. Frank, there are letters and notes.
Burn them. All of them.
Burn this.
It's on this diary. Monday, the 6th of July, 1942. 1942. Is it possible, me? Only 3 years ago? Dear Diary, since you and I are going to become best friends, I'll start by telling you about myself. My name is Anne Frank. I'm 13 years old. I was born in Germany on the 12th of June, 1929. As my family is Jewish, we emigrated to Holland when Hitler came to power. My father started a business importing spices and herbs. Things went well for us until 1940. Then came the war and the Dutch defeat, followed by the arrival of the Germans. Then things got very bad for the Jews.
You could not do this, and you could not do that. They forced Father out of his business. We had to wear yellow stars. I had to turn in my life. I couldn't go to a Dutch school anymore. I couldn't go to the movies, or ride in an automobile, or even on a streetcar, and a million other things. But somehow, we children still managed to have fun. Yesterday, Father told me we were going into hiding. Where, he wouldn't say. At 5 o'clock this morning, Mother woke me and told me to hurry and get dressed. I was to put on as many clothes as I could. It would look too suspicious if we walked around carrying suitcases. It wasn't until we were on our way that I learned where we were going. Our hiding place was to be upstairs, in the building where Father had his business. 3 other people were coming in with us, the Fondans and their son Peter. Father knew the Fondans, but we had never met them.
Something's happened to them. I know it.
Now, Carter.
Mr. Frost said they'd be here at 7 o'clock, he said.
They have 2 miles to walk. You can't expect.
They've been taken. I know that's what happened. They've been picked up.
No, you see.
Mr. Fondant, Mr. Frank, Mrs. Fondant.
Oh,
Take care. There were too many of the green police on the street. We had to take the long way around.
Anna! Anna!
This is my wife, David. Mr. and Mrs. Fondant, and their son, Peter. And these are my daughters, Margaret and Anna.
I'm sorry there's still so much confusion.
Oh, please, don't think of it. After all, we'll have ample leisure to arrange everything ourselves.
I put the stores of food you brought in this cabinet here. And your soaps and linens are in here, as well as your medicine.
Thanks to me.
I made the beds the way Mr. Fowler and Mr. Frank said. Oh, excuse me. I must be heading to the other side of town to get the ration books for you.
Ration books? If they see our names in ration books, they'll know we're here.
Oh, no, your names won't be on them.
Thank you, Bee.
I'll be up later.
Remind me, it's illegal, the ration books? We've never done anything illegal.
We won't be living exactly according to regulations here.
This isn't the black market, Mrs. Frank. This is what we call the white market. Hiding out the hundreds and hundreds, hiding in Amsterdam. I must go. I have to be downstairs and in the office before the workmen get here. Meeper and I, both of us, will be up each day to bring you food and news, to find out what your needs are. I'll get you a better bolt for the door downstairs. You'll need that so that you can throw it yourself and only open it at our signal. Oh, you'll tell them about the noise?
I'll tell them.
Good then. I'll be up after the workmen leave.
Goodbye, Mr. Fowler.
How can we ever thank you?
I never thought I'd live to see a day when a man like Mr. Frank would have to go into hiding. When you think about it.
What did he mean about the noise?
First, let's take off some of these clothes.
It's a wonder we weren't arrested walking down the street. Petronella in a fur coat in July, and that cat of Peter's crying all the way.
A cat?
Anna, please!
Don't worry, Mother. I have on 3 more.
Now, about the noise. Whenever there are workmen in the offices below, we must have complete quiet. Every sound can be heard down there. The workmen arrive about 8:30. They leave about 5:30. So from 8 in the morning until 6 in the evening, we must move only when necessary, and then in stocking feet. We must never speak above a whisper. We cannot run any water. We cannot use the sink, nor, forgive me, the WC. Those pipes go right down through the workrooms. It would be heard. No trash must ever... someone is living here, not so much as a potato paring. We must burn everything here in the stove every night. This is the way we must live until it is over, if we are to survive.
Until it is over.
After 6 o'clock, we can move about. We can talk and laugh and eat supper and read and play games, just like we would at home. Now, I think it would be best if we all go to our rooms and we're settled before 8 o'clock. Mrs. Fondant, you and your husband will be upstairs. I regret that there's not room enough up there for Peter. He'll be down here near us. This room will serve as our common room, where we'll meet to talk and eat and read, like one family.
Well, where will you and Mrs. Frank sleep?
This room will also be our bedroom.
Well, I don't feel right about
No,
that.
please,
should
please,
take me
I've thought
downstairs.
about this for weeks. It is the best arrangement. It is the only arrangement.
Never can we thank you. I don't know what would have happened to us if it hadn't been for Mr. Frank.
Mrs. Fondant, you don't know how your husband helped me when I first came to this country. Not knowing the language, knowing no one, I can never repay him for that. May I help you with your things?
No, no. Come, Curly.
Well, you'll be all right, Pater. You're not afraid?
Mother, please.
And you must rest too, Ada. You didn't close your eyes at all last night. Nor you, Margaret.
I slept, Father. Isn't it funny? I knew it would be the last night in my own bed, and yet I slept soundly.
I'm glad, Annie. Now, if you can stay here to arrange, help me arrange the things in here. Come here. You and Margaret, rest in this room for the time being.
Are you sure? I can help, really. All I hasn't had enough.
I'll get it for you.
I'm sure you're not tired, Aunt.
I feel fine, Mother. I'm going to help Father.
I'm glad, Pater, that you will be with us.
Yes, Mrs. Frank.
Now, Anna, Pater, it would be best if you took off your shoes now, before you forget.
What's your cat's name?
Mushi.
Mushy, 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 mushy. Oh, I love cats. I had one of my own, a darling little cat, but I had to leave her behind. I left some food and a note for the neighbors to take care of her, but I'm going to miss her terribly. What's yours, a him or a her?
He's a Tom, and he doesn't like strangers.
Well, then I'll have to stop being a stranger then, won't I? Is he fixed?
What?
Have you gotten him fixed?
No.
Well, you ought to get him fixed to keep him from fighting. Where did you go to school?
Jewish secondary.
But that's where Margaret and I go. We never saw you around.
I used to see you sometimes
You did?
in the schoolyard. You were always in the middle of a bunch of kids.
Well, why didn't you ever come over and say hello?
I'm sort of a lone wolf.
What are you doing?
Taking it off.
You can't do that. They'll arrest you if you go outside without your star.
Who's going out?
Of course you're right. Of course we don't need them anymore. I wonder what our friends are going to think when we don't show up today.
I didn't have any dates with anyone.
Oh, I did. I had a date with Yogi Duvall to go play ping pong over at her house. Do you know Yogi Duvall?
No.
Well, Yogi's my best friend. I wonder what she'll do when she telephones over to the house and there's no one to answer. Probably she'll go over there. But we left everything as if we had to leave in a great hurry. Breakfast dishes in the sink, beds not made. What are you going to do with yours?
Burn it.
It's funny, I can't seem to give it up. I don't know why.
You can't give up something they branded you with? That they made you wear so that they could spit on you?
I know, but it is the Star of David after all, isn't it?
Maybe it's different for a girl.
Forgive me, Pater. Now, let me see. We must find a bed for your cat. I'm glad you brought your cat. Anna was feeling so badly about hers. Now, what should we, Would it be comfortable in that?
Yes, thank you.
Now, this will be your room. But I warn you, Pater, you mustn't grow any more. Not an inch, or you'll have to sleep with your feet sticking out the skylight. Are you hungry?
No.
We have some bread and butter.
No. Thank you.
You can have it for lunch then. And tonight we'll have a real supper. Our first supper together.
Thanks.
That's a nice boy, Pater.
He's awfully shy, isn't he?
You'll like him, I know.
I hope so, seeing as he's the only boy I'm likely to see for months and months.
Anna, there's a box over there. I'd like you to open it.
Do you know how I'm going to think of it while we're here? I'm going to think of it
don't want you ever to go beyond that door.
Never? Not even at night when there's no one in the building? Or on Sundays? Not even to listen to the radio?
No, never. I'm sorry, Anna, but it isn't safe. You must never go beyond that door.
I see.
It'll be hard, but remember this always. There are no walls, no locks, no bolts that anyone can put on your mind. Meek will bring us books. We'll read history and poetry and mythology. Here's your note. As a matter of fact, being here has certain advantages for you. For instance, remember that battle you and your mother had the other day on the topic of overshoes? You said, I'd rather die than wear overshoes. But in the end, you had to wear them anyway. Well, as long as we're here, you won't have to wear overshoes again. Isn't that good? And how about that overcoat you inherited from Margaret? Yeah, you won't have to wear that again either. And the piano, you won't have to practice the piano. I tell you, this is going to be a fine life for you.
I thought I'd better get some water for Moosh before.
Of course.
I expect I should be describing what it feels like to go into hiding, but I really don't know yet myself. I only know it's funny never to be able to go outdoors, never to breathe fresh air, never to run and shout and jump. It's the silence in the night that frightens me most. Every time I hear a creak in the house or a step on the street outside, I'm sure they're coming for us. The days aren't so bad. At least we know that Meek and Mr. Crawler are down there below us in the office. Our protectors, we call them. I asked Father what would happen to them if the Nazis found out they were hiding us. Him said that they would suffer the same fate that we would. Imagine! They know this, and yet when they come up here, they're always cheerful and gay, as if there were nothing in the world to bother them. Friday, the 21st of August, 1942. Today I'm going to tell you our general news. Mother is unbearable. She insists on treating me like a baby, which I loathe. Otherwise,
It's safe. The last workman has left.
WC!
6 o'clock. School's over.
Anna, have you seen my shoes?
Your shoes?
You've taken them, haven't you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anna, you're going to be sorry.
Am I?
Peter!
No! Where are you going, Peter? Come dance with me.
I tell you, I don't know how.
I'll teach you.
I'm going to give Mushi his dinner.
Can I watch?
He doesn't like people around while he eats.
Please, Peter.
No.
On. You shouldn't play like that. Peter, isn't dignified.
Who cares about being dignified? I don't want to be dignified.
You complain I don't treat you like a grown-up, and then when I do, you resent it.
I only want some fun. Someone to laugh and clown with. When you sat still all day and hardly moved, you've got to have some fun. I don't know what's the matter with that boy.
Oh, he isn't used to girls. Give him some time.
Time? Is it 2 months? Time enough? I could just cry. Come on, Margaret, dance with me.
I have to help myself.
Please. We're going to forget how to dance, you know. When we get out of here, we aren't going to remember a thing. Ta-dum, 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 dum-dum. Ta-dum, 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 dum-dum. Oh, next. Oh. Where's Peter? Where would he be?
Ugh, he hasn't finished his lessons yet, has he? His father will kill it if he's in there in that room with that cat and his work's not done. Anna, get him out of there, will you?
Peter! Peter!
What is it?
Your mother says to come out.
I'm giving Mushi his dinner.
Oh, you know what your father says.
For heaven's sake, Mother, I haven't even looked at him since lunch.
Just saying, that's all.
I'll feed him.
I don't want you in there.
Peter.
Fine. Then give him his dinner and come right back out. You understand?
Yes.
Oh, Peter, is that any way to talk to your little girlfriend?
Mother, please.
Oh, look at him blush, look at him.
Let me alone, will
Oh,
you?
you act like it's something to be ashamed of. To have a little girlfriend, it's nothing to be ashamed of.
She's only 13.
So what? And you're 16? Your father is 10 years older than I am. I warned Mr. Frank, if this war lasts much longer, we're going to be related.
Mazel tov.
I wonder where meat is.
Good evening, everyone. Forgive me if I don't stay. I have a friend waiting for me in there. His name is Tom. Tomcat. People say that we look alike, but I don't quite see it. You see, he has the most beautiful whiskers, and I only have a bit of fuzz.
Oh.
But I'm hoping that
All right, Mrs. Quack Quack.
Peter!
Oh, I heard about you. How you talked so much in class that they called you Mrs. Quack Quack. How Mr. Smitter had you write a composition? Quack Quack, said Mrs. Quack Quack.
Well, go on. Tell them the rest. How it was so wonderful that he read it out loud to his class, and then to all of his other classes. Tell them.
Quack, 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 quack.
You are the most intolerable, insufferable boy I have ever met.
That's right, Anna. You give it to him.
Of all the boys in the world, why did I have to get locked up with one like you?
Quack, 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 quack. And from now on, stay out of my room.
On. Your hair. You're warm. You have a fever, have you?
No, Mother.
Now on. You know we can't call a doctor here ever. The only way to prevent an illness is to catch it before it comes on. Now, let me see your tongue.
Mother, this is perfectly absurd.
Oh, don't be such a baby. Let me see your tongue. Otto.
You heard your mother, Anna.
Anna. Oh. Come on, open up.
Ah!
bicycle or a visit with Yogi Duvall wouldn't cure. Is that so, honey?
Beef not come yet?
The workman just left a little while ago.
What's for dinner then?
Beans.
Oh, not
Oh,
again.
poor Pootie, I know. But what are we to do? It's all meat products.
We are now entering what is known as the bean cycle. Beans boiled, beans on casserole, beans with strings.
Ah, see you in there playing with your
Oh,
bat.
he just went in there a moment ago. He put his coat away. He's been out there the whole time doing his lessons.
Honey, you get an excellent in your history paper today, and a very good in Latin.
How about algebra?
I have a confession to make. Up until now, I've managed to stay ahead of you in algebra. Today, you caught up with me. I'll leave it to Margaret to correct.
Oh, is it algebra just vile pin?
Vile.
Well, how did I do?
Excellent, 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 excellent!
You should have used the subjunctive here.
Should I? I thought, well, look here. I didn't use it here.
Mrs. Fondon, may I try on your coat?
No, Anna.
Oh, it's all right. But careful with it. My father gave me that the year before he died. And he always bought the best money could buy.
Mrs. Fondon, did you have a lot of boyfriends before you were married?
Anna, now, that's a personal question. It's not courteous to ask a personal question.
Oh, I don't mind. Our house is always swarming with boys. When I was a little girl,
Oh,
we had
God,
a
here we
big...
go again.
Oh, shut up. One summer we had a
What's
big
up?
house.
A big
in
house.
Milton.
Ah,
And the boys swarmed around like bees around a jam pot. And when I was 16, we were wearing our skirts very short those days. Oh, and I had good legs. Well, I may not be as pretty as I used to be, but I still have my legs. How about Mr. Frank?
all right, we see them, we see them.
I wasn't asking you, I was asking Mr. Frank.
Mother, for heaven's sake.
Oh, I embarrass you, do I? Well, I hope the girl you marry has just as good. My father used to worry about me with so many boys hanging around the house. He told me if any of them get brushed with you, you say to them, remember, Mr. So-and-so, remember, I'm a lady.
Remember, Mr. So-and-so, remember, I'm a lady.
Look at you talking to her that way. Don't you know she puts it all down in that diary?
Oh, and so she does. I'm only telling the truth.
Hey, would you mind if I moved you to the sofa?
Meek must have the radio on.
Aren't you done yet?
No.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
All right. I'm a hopeless case.
Oh, don't say that. You're not hopeless. You just haven't had anyone to help you like the girls have. Well, how about it, Mr. Frank? Do you think you could help Pater?
Oh, I'm sure that his father would rather
Oh,
do
not me. I can't do anything with him. He won't listen to me. You go ahead if you like.
Well, what do you say, Pater? Shall we make our school co-educational?
Mr. Frank, you are an angel. Mwah, an angel. I don't know why I didn't meet you before I met that one there. Now you come sit right here. All right, Pater, now you listen to Mr. Frank.
I think it would be better if we went to Pater's room.
Oh, well, that's right. Well, you go on and you listen to Mr. Frank. Mr. Frank is a highly educated man.
Shh! I can hear men's voices talking.
Isn't it bad enough around here without your sprawling all over the place?
Oh, if you didn't smoke so much, you wouldn't be so bad-tempered.
Am I smoking? Do you see me smoking?
Did you already smoke up all those cigarettes?
One package. Me boy brought me one
It's
package.
a disgusting habit. You should break yourself anyway.
Stop it.
Oh, you're smoking up all our money. You know that. All our
You
money.
shut up. And what are you staring at?
Well, I've never heard adults quarrel before. I thought only children quarreled.
This is not a quarrel. It's a discussion. And I've never heard children so rude before.
I grew.
Anna! Keep screaming my knitting. I must remember to ask me for some more wool when she comes.
Oh, I need some hairpins and soap. I made a list.
Anna, if you have your library books with me.
It's a wonder that Meep has a life of her own the way we keep asking her to run errands for us. Please, Meep, I need more starch. Take my hair out to get cut and tell me all the latest news, Meep. Did you know that she was engaged? His name is Dirk, and Meep's afraid the Nazis are going to take him and ship him off to Germany to work in one of their war plants.
Don't you ever get tired of talking. Suppose you try keeping still for 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes.
Anna, come finish your milk.
Talk. I've never seen such a child. Where's my Talk, talk, talk. Every evening it's the same. Where?
What are you looking for?
My pipe.
What good
You
is a
see my
pipe if there's no tobacco?
At least I'd have something to hold in my mouth.
Why-
Margot, have you seen my pipe?
It was on the table last night.
I know, I know. Anna, have you seen my pipe? Anna.
Anna, Mr. Fondant is speaking to you.
Oh, am I allowed to talk now?
You are the most aggravating child ever. You know your problem is that you've been spoiled. What you need is a good old-fashioned spanking.
Remember, Mr. So-and-so, remember, I'm a lady.
Why can't you be more like your sister, Margot? Why do you have to show off all the time? Let me give you some advice, young lady. A man doesn't like that sort of thing in a lady. A man likes a girl who'll listen to him every once in a while. A domestic girl who'll keep her house shining for a husband, who loves to cook and sew.
I'd slit my throat first. I'd open my veins. I'm going to be remarkable. I'm going to Paris to
Paris?
study music and art. I'm going to be
Yeah,
a dancer, maybe a singer, just something wonderful. Look what you've done, you clumsy fool.
My father's coat. Do you know how much this costs? Do you know?
I'm so sorry.
Oh, what do you care? Is it yours? Go on and ruin it. I could just kill you for this. I
Hey,
could just
Prunella,
kill you.
come back.
Oh, it's ruined.
Come back. The dinner. Come back.
Anna, you mustn't behave that way.
It was an accident, Mother. Anyone can have an
I
accident.
don't mean that. I mean the answering back. You must not answer back. We're all living under terrible tension, but they're our guests, and we must show the greatest courtesy to them. You don't see Margaret getting into arguments with them, do you? She keeps her distance, and they respect her for it. Try to do more like Margaret.
And have them walk all over me like they do her? No thanks.
I'm not afraid that anyone is going to walk all over you, Anna. I'm afraid for other people, but you'll walk all over them. I don't know what gets into you. You're wild, strong-willed. If I had spoken to
But
my...
things aren't like that anymore. Everything sounds, yes, Mother! No, Mother, anything you say, Mother! I have to fight things out for myself. Make something of myself.
Is it always necessary to fight to do it? You don't see Margaret.
Margaret, Margaret, Margaret! That's all I ever hear from anyone. How wonderful Margaret is. Be more like Margaret. Everything she does is perfect, and everything I do is wrong. I'm the goat around here. You're all against me, and you worst of all.
Throw the soup, Margaret. Is anyone who still cares to eat? I don't know how long we can go on living like this. I can't say a word to Anna. She's flies at me.
Well, you know, Anna, in half an hour she'll be out here laughing and playing.
And I told your father that wouldn't work out. No, he had to ask them. He owed it to them, he said. Well, now he knows. Now he knows that I was right. The quarrels and the bickering. Every time I hear that, my heart stops.
It's me. Father,
Thank you, Margaret. Has everyone his list?
I'll go get my books. Mother, Curtis is there. Meet's here.
Is it me?
Yes, Father's coming down to go get it.
Left, I'll have some cigarettes.
I can't tell you how sorry I am about Mrs. Fondant's coat. Anna should never have cut.
It's okay, it'll be all right.
Is there anything I can do?
No, it's just fine.
Mr. Crowler!
Oh, this is a surprise.
When Mr. Crawler comes, the sun begins to shine.
Now, meat is coming, not tonight.
Mr. Crawler, would you like a cup of coffee or to stay for supper?
No, thank you. Mr. Crawler has something to talk over with us. Something has come up, he says, that demands an immediate decision.
What is it?
Usually, when I come up here, I try to bring you some bit of good news. What's the use of bringing you bad news? There's nothing you can do about it. But today, something's happened. Dirk, meets Dirk, you know. He came to me. He says he has a Jewish friend living in his neighborhood, a dentist. He begged me, was there anything that I could do for this man? Can I find him a place to hide? So I've come to you. I know it's a terrible thing to ask, living as you are, but Could you take him in with you?
Of course we will.
It'll just be for a night or two, until I can find some other place. It all happened so suddenly.
Where is he?
He's downstairs in the office.
Good, bring him up.
His name is Dussel, young Dussel.
Dussel. I think I know him.
I'll get him.
Forgive me. I spoke without consulting you, but I knew you'd feel as I do.
Well, there's no need for you to consult anyone. It's your place. You can do what you like. The only thing I was thinking, there's so little food as is. And to add one more person.
We can stretch the food a little. After all, it's only a few days.
You want to make a bet?
Well, I think it's fine to have him on to. But where are we going to put him? Where?
You can have my room. I'll sleep on the floor. I won't mind.
That's good of you, Peter. But your room's too small, even for you.
I have a much better idea. I'll come in here with you and Mother, and Margaret can have Peter's room, and Peter can share our room with Mr. Dussel.
Well, that's right. We can do that.
No, Margaret. You mustn't sleep in that room. Nor you, Anna. Mushi's caught cats in there. Caught rats in there. And Peter doesn't mind. He's a brave lad.
Well, then how about this? I'll come in here with you and Mother, and Mr. Dussel can have my bed.
No. Margaret will come in here, and Mr. Dussel will have her bed. No, Margaret, get your things. Anna, help her.
But why, Margaret? Why can't I come in here?
Because it wouldn't be proper for Margaret to sleep alone in a room with... Why are you arguing with me? Go!
Anna, you don't mind sharing your room with Mr. Dussel, do you?
No. Of course not.
Good. Now, where's the cognac?
In the cabinet, Otto. I was saving it for illness.
I can't think of a better time to use it. Peter, will you give me 5 glasses, please?
What's going on? What's happening?
Someone's moving in with us.
In here, you're joking.
It's only for a night or two, until Mr. Crawler finds another place
Oh,
to stay.
yeah.
Come in, Mr. Dussel.
This is Mr. Frank.
Mr. Otto Frank?
Yes. Let me take your thing. This is my wife, Ada. Mr. and Mrs. Fondant. And their son, Peter. And these are my daughters, Anna and Margaret.
Mr. Dussel, I leave you in good hands. Oh, here's go.
Oh, yes, Mr. Crowder. I do not know how to begin to thank you for this.
Oh, me and Mr. Crawler, they're our lifelines. Without them, we couldn't live.
Please. You make us seem very heroic, and it isn't that at all. We simply don't like the Nazis. We don't like their methods. We don't like anything about them.
I know. No one's going to tell us Dutchmen what to do with our damn Jews.
If you don't mind, Mr. Frank, I'll be back tomorrow to check on you, make sure they're treating you well. Don't bother to come down again. Peter will hold the door, won't you, Peter?
Yes, sir.
That's okay, Peter. I'll do it.
Good night. Good night.
Good night,
Good night.
Mr. Crawler.
I must be dreaming. I know it. I don't believe it. Mr. Otto Frank here. And he's not in Switzerland. A lady told me, she said, she went to their house. The door was open, but the house was in disarray. There were dishes in the sink. And she found a piece of paper in the wastebasket with an address for Zurich on it.
Father put that there purposely, just so people would think that very thing.
And you've been here all this time.
All this time, ever since July.
It worked, Father. I know you left. People think we escaped to Switzerland.
I'm glad, Anna. Now, let's have a little drink to welcome Mr. Dussel. To Mr. Dussel, welcome. We're honored to have you with us.
Well, that is good.
Now, did Mr. Carl tell you about the food? We share 3 ration books among the 7 of us. And well, now you make 8.
Miss Madame, if you only realize what's going on out there, if you only realize, right here in Amsterdam, hundreds of Jews disappear every day. They come to a block, they search every house, house by house. The children, they come home from school, their parents are gone. And these are families that we all know, the Hollenstra, the Vessels.
No!
Yes, they get a call-up notice. Come to the Jewish theater, and such a day, and such a time. Bring only what you can carry in your knapsack. And if you refuse, they drag you from your house, put you on a train to Mauthausen, the death camp. I'm
We
sorry.
didn't know that things had gotten so bad.
I'm sorry for speaking like this.
Do you know the Duvals? What's become of them? Their daughter, Yopi, she's in my grade. Yopi's my best friend.
They're gone.
What? Gone?
Gone with all the rest.
Oh, no, not Yopi!
There was a family that lived near us, the Wagners. Do you know?
I think we ought to put this off until later. We all have so many questions, but I'm sure Mr. Dussel would like to get settled before supper.
Yes, I would too. I didn't bring very much.
Now, I'm sorry we can't give you a room alone, Mr. Dussel, but I hope you won't be too uncomfortable. We've made a strict set of rules here, a schedule of hours. We'll tell you after supper. Anna, would you please take Mr. Dussel to his room?
Yes, if you'll come with me, Mr. Dussel.
I do not know how to begin to express my gratitude. This has been such a shock for me. I've always thought of myself as Dutch. I was born in Holland. My father was born in Holland, and my grandfather. And now, after all this time, if you will excuse me.
Well, here we are.
The news sounds pretty bad, doesn't it? It's so different from what Mr. Carr tells us. Mr. Carr, he says that things are improving.
God, like the way Carl tells it better.
You're going to share the room with me.
I always spent much of my time alone. I haven't had to adjust to other people. Please bear with me while I learn.
Let me help you. You mean you haven't had anyone?
No one.
Oh, dear. You must be terribly lonely.
No, I get used to it.
I don't think I could ever get used to it. You mean you haven't had anything? Not even a cat or a dog?
Oh, no. I'm allergic to fur-bearing animals. They give me asthma.
Oh, dear. Pater has a cat.
Oh, no, not here. Here?
Oh, yes, but we hardly ever see it. It mostly just stays in his room. I'm sure it will be all right.
Let's hope so.
Now, the best part about this room is that, well, there's a window here, and you can look out and see just a little bit of the street and the canal. A bargeman lives in the canal with his family on a houseboat. They have a baby, and he's just beginning to walk. I'm so afraid that he's going to fall in the canal someday. I watched them sometimes.
Your father spoke of some rules.
Oh, yes. A schedule of hours. It's mostly about the times that we have to be quiet and the times for the WC. You can use it now if you'd like.
Oh, no, thank you.
You must think it's awful my speaking of a thing like that. But you don't understand how important it can get to be, especially when you're frightened. Now about this room, the way Margaret and I did it. Well, that's her bed there, where you're going to sleep, and I slept here. Well, she would have the room in the afternoons for studying and reading lessons, you know, and then I had it in the morning. Would that be all right with you?
Oh, no, I'm not very good in the morning.
All right. Well, you can have it in the morning, and I'll take the afternoon.
Well, what will I be doing when you're in here? Where will I be? Out there without all those people?
Yes.
I see, I see.
We have supper at 6:30.
Well, then, I think I'll lie down for about 10 minutes before eating. I find that it helps the digestion.
Of course. I hope I'm not going to be too much of a bother. I seem to be able to get everyone's back up.
Oh, no. I've always been very good with children. My patients send all their children to me because they know I'm good with them, so don't worry about that.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Dussel. And yesterday I finished Sissy von Marksfeld's latest book. I think that she is a first-class writer. I shall definitely let my children read her. Monday, the 21st of September, 1942. Mr. Dussel and I had another battle yesterday. Yes, Mr. Dussel. According to him, nothing, I repeat, nothing is right about me. My appearance, my character, my manners. While he was going on at me, I thought, sometime I'll give you such a smack that will fly right up to the ceiling. Why is it that every grown-up thinks he knows the way to bring up children, particularly the grown-ups that have never had any? I keep wishing Paige was a girl instead of a boy. Then I would have someone to talk to. Margaret's a darling, but she takes everything too seriously. To pause for a moment on the subject of Mrs. Von Don, I must tell you that her attempts to flirt with father are getting nowhere. Him, thank goodness, won't play.
Go back to bed. She'll be herself again in a moment or two.
No,
Won't you, Anna?
I'm going to the WC. At least there's a little peace there.
All right.
What's the matter? What happened?
It's Anna. Nightmares.
I thought someone was murdering her.
Unfortunately, no.
Thank you, Pager. Go back to bed.
Would you like some water? A very bad dream. Perhaps if you tell me about it.
I'd rather not talk about it.
All right, then. Try to go back to sleep. Then you'll feel better. I'll stay here with you until you go back to sleep.
You don't have to.
But I want to.
I'd
Really.
rather you didn't.
All right. Good night, then. You sure there's nothing that you want?
Could you please send Father in for me?
Of course. She wants you.
Pager, dear.
And thank God at least she'll turn to you when she needs comfort. Go to her. She's shaking and she... Go! She wants nothing of me. She turned her face away when I tried to kiss her.
Listen, babes, you heard Father. Most girls go through it. They turn to their fathers at this age. They give all their love to their fathers.
You weren't like this. You didn't shut me out.
She'll get over it.
Oh, Pam, it was terrible! I dreamed that they came to get me. The green police. They broke down the door and they dragged me off like they did Yopi.
Here, I want you to take this pill.
What is it?
Something to quiet you. Would you like me to read to you for a while?
No, just stay here. Ugh, I'm such a coward. So ashamed myself. I think I've conquered my fear, that I'm really grown up. And then something happens, and I run to you like a baby. I love you, Father. I don't love anyone but you.
Anna Lynn.
It's true. I've been thinking about it for a long time. You're the only one I really love.
It's fine to hear you say you love me, but I'd be much happier if you said you loved your mother as well. She needs your help so much. Your love.
She doesn't understand me. Whenever I try to discuss my views on life with her, she asks me if I'm constipated.
You hurt her very badly just now. She's crying. She's in there crying.
Well, I only told the truth. I didn't want her here. Oh, Pam, I'm horrible! And the worst of it is, I can look back on myself, and I know what I'm doing is cruel, but I just can't stop. What's the matter with me? Don't say it's just a phase. Help me!
There is so very little that we parents can do to help our children. We can try to set a good example, to point the way. But the rest you must do for yourself. You must build your own character.
I'm trying. Really, I am. Every night before I go to bed, I think over all the things I did that day that were wrong. Like putting the wet mop in Mr. Dussel's bed. And now this thing with Mother. I think back over all these things and I say to myself, Anna, that was wrong. And I promise myself that I'm never going to do those things again. Of course, I may do something worse, but at least I'll never do that again. I have a nicer side, Father. A sweeter, nicer side. I'm afraid to show it. I'm afraid that if I'm serious, people will laugh at me. So the mean Anna comes to the outside. And the good Anna comes to the inside. And I try and switch them around and have the good Anna on the outside and the mean Anna on the inside. And be what I'd like to be and might be if only. The air raids are getting worse. They come over day and night. The noise is terrifying. Pim says it should be music to our ears. The more planes, the sooner will come the end of the war. Mrs. Von Don pretends to be a fatalist. What will be, will be. But when the planes come over, who is the most frightened? No one else but Petronella. Monday, the 9th of November, 1942. Wonderful news! The Allies have landed in Africa. Pim says that we can look to an early finish to the war. Just for fun, he asked each of us what was the first thing we wanted to do when we got out of here. Mrs. Von Don longs to be home with her own things. Her needlepoint chairs, the Bekenstein piano her father gave her, the best money could buy. Peter would like to go to a movie. Mr. Dussel wants to get back to his dentist's drill. He's afraid he's losing his touch. For myself, there are so many things. To ride a bike again, to laugh till my belly aches, to have new clothes from the skin out, to have a hot tub filled to overflowing and wallow in it for hours, to be back in school with my friends.
Baruch atah Tisbatov Vitsivanu, Lahalek Ner Shel Hanukkah.
Amen.
Praise be thou, O Lord our God, ruler of the universe, who has sanctified us with thy commandments and bidden us kindle the Hanukkah lights. Praise be thou, O Lord our God, ruler of the universe, who has wrought wondrous deliverances for our fathers in days of old. Praise be thou, O Lord our God, ruler of the universe, that thou hast given us life and sustenance and brought us to this happy season. Amen.
Amen.
We kindle this Hanukkah light to celebrate the great and wonderful deeds wrought through the zeal with which God filled the hearts of the heroic Maccabees 2,000 years ago. They fought against indifference, against tyranny and oppression, and they restored our temple to us. May these lights remind us that we should ever look to God, whence cometh our help. Amen.
I lift up mine eyes unto the mountain, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. He that keepeth Israel doth neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall keep thee from all evil. He shall keep thy soul. The Lord shall guard thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth and forevermore. Amen.
Amen. That was very moving.
Well, it isn't over yet.
That's right. Sit down. Sit down.
There's lots more songs and presents.
Presents.
Oh, well, not this year, unfortunately.
Oh, but always on Hanukkah, everyone gives presents. Everyone.
Oh, sort of like St. Nicholas Day.
No, it's not like St. Nicholas Day. What kind of Jew are you that you don't know Hanukkah? I mean, really.
What I remember most is the candles.
Oh,
First the one as we have tonight, and then another the next night, and another the third, until there are 8 candles burning. When there are 8 candles, it is truly beautiful.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, Borei pari hagafen. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, Creator of the fruit of the vine. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who brings forth bread from the earth. Amen.
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 Oh, and the potato pancakes. Oh, I make the best latkes you've ever tasted.
This is right.
Well, invite us all next year, in your own home.
God willing.
God willing.
What I remember best is the presents. 8 days of presents, and each day got better and better.
Well, we're all here alive, and that's present enough.
No, it's not. I have something.
What do you have?
What, Anna?
Presents.
Presents?
How did she have
Presents.
Oh, look.
What's that on her head?
A lampshade.
Oh, dear. They're every which way. This is for Margaret. Well, go on, open it.
You've never lost your temper. You never will, I fear. You are so good, but if you should, put all your crosswords here. A new crossword puzzle.
It's not new. It's one you've done before. But I wrote it all out, so if you wait a while and forget, you can do it over again.
You never know.
Let's see. Or Mrs. Fondant.
Oh, Anna, I feel terrible. I didn't get anyone anything.
It was all Anna's idea.
Well, what is it?
It's hair shampoo.
Oh.
I took all the odds and ends of my soap and mixed them with the last of my toilet water.
Oh, Anna, it smells wonderful.
Look, well, I wanted to write a poem for all of them, but I didn't have time.
Oh.
Now yours, Mr. Fondant, is something that you really want. Something you wanted for a long time. It's cigarettes.
Cigarettes? Oh, yeah.
Cigarettes.
doing whatever you say? Anything you say?
That's right.
Mrs. Rock, may I buy that from you?
You better promise that. That's right.
For him.
Oh, Anna Lynn, I wasn't supposed to have a present.
It's a muffler, like an ascot, you know. I knitted it out of odds and ends every night before I go to sleep. I'm afraid it looks better in the dark.
Oh, it fits fine. Oh, it's beautiful. Thank you, Anna Lynn.
Oh, this is for Mushi.
On behalf of Mushi, I thank you.
And then here's your present from Mrs. Quack Quack.
Well, go on, Pedro. Open it. Let's see what you have in there.
I'm afraid to. I know something's going to jump out and hit me.
Oh, no, it's nothing like that, really. It's a safety razor.
A what?
Oh, razor.
Oh, you didn't make that out of odds and ends, Anna.
No, Meek got it for me. It's not new, it's secondhand. But you really do need a razor now.
For what?
Oh, look on his upper lips. There's just the beginnings of a mustache.
Oh, if he needs to do that, let him put some milk on his lip and let his cat lick it off.
This is funny, don't you?
Look at him go. He's going to try it.
I'm going to give Mushi his present.
Mushy, mushy, mushy.
Last, but never least. My roommate, Mr. Dussel.
What a present for me.
Yes, I made it myself.
Let's see what this can be. A capsule? 2 capsules?
They're earplugs.
Oh,
So you won't hear me crash about at night. I saw them advertised in a magazine, and I made them myself out of some cotton and candle wax. Go on, try it.
Well,
See if you can hear me talk.
let's see if they work.
Are you ready?
What? Huh?
I said, are you ready?
Oh no! They've gone all the way in. I can't get them out. Oh, no. Thank you, Anna. A real honor.
I know. Thank you, Anna. That was very nice. I love my present.
And now let's have the song. Have you heard the song, Mr. Dussel? Oh, the song is everything. Oh, Hanukkah, oh, Hanukkah.
Anna, I don't think we ought to sing the song tonight. It's a song of rejoicing, of jubilation. One is apt to become too enthusiastic.
Please, Father, please, I promise not to shout.
Very well, but quietly. I'm keeping an eye on you, and if it gets too loud...
Oh, there, that cat comes. Look at him. Get out! Get out!
What's the matter with you? You lost your mind? Get that cat out of here.
Cat?
You heard me. Get the cat out of here.
But I have no cat.
You see, there's nothing even in
It
there.
doesn't matter. Whatever he comes out of that room with, it's on his clothes.
Don't worry, it won't bother you anymore. We're getting rid of it.
Oh, now you listen to me.
Oh, this isn't about you. That's in your mind, all of it. We're getting rid of it because I'm tired of seeing that cat eat all of our food.
That's not true. I only feed him bones. Scraps.
Don't tell me. Damn cat gets fatter than the rest of us. It eats better than all of us. Out it goes tonight.
Oh, Mr. Fondant, you can't do that. That's Pedro's cat. Pedro loves his cat.
If he goes, I go.
Go!
Oh,
Go!
you're not going, and the cat's not going. Now, please. This is Hanukkah, a time to celebrate. Now, come on, Anna, let's have the song.
Oh, Hanukkah, oh, Hanukkah.
Hon, let's blow out the candle first.
But,
So we'll have something for tomorrow night.
but Father, you're supposed to let them burn themselves out.
I'm sure God understands shortages. Praise be to thou, O Lord our God, who has sustained us and permitted us to celebrate this joyous festival.
God almighty. Did you hear anything?
No, I think they've gone.
It's the Greek police. They found us.
If they had, they wouldn't have left. They'd be up here by now.
No, it's the Greek police. They just gone to get help. They'll be back.
Or it could be the Gestapo looking for paper.
Or a thief looking for money.
Quick, do something. Quick, I beg you, do something.
There's nothing to do. Just shh, shh, shh.
Anna, get some water.
No one's taking any water.
If they found us, they found us. Get the water. I'm going down.
No, Father, no. There may be someone down there waiting. It may be a trap.
Margaret, it's Saturday. There's no way for us to know what happened until meet where Mr. Crawler come Monday morning. We can't live with that uncertainty.
Don't go far.
Margaret, come here with me.
Shush, shush.
Woody, where's our money? Quick, get our money out here. We can buy the green. Please, please, quick, get our money.
Be still.
Do you just want to stand here and let him drag us off to a concentration camp? Please, I beg you, do something.
Be still.
Oh.
Someone go get Mother.
I'll go.
Haven't you done enough already?
Mr. Frank, please, there's no.
Quiet! Quiet!
I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help comes from the Lord, the creator of heaven and earth. Mama,
It was a thief.
Oh, thank God. Thank God.
The noise must have scared him off. He stole the cash box and the radio and then must have run off in such a hurry that he never stopped to shut the front door. It was swinging wide open. We could use some light.
Are you sure it's all right?
The danger has passed. Don't be so frightened, Anna. We're safe.
How can you say the danger is past? We're in an even greater danger now.
Mr. Dussel, will you be still?
Thanks to this clumsy fool, somebody down there knows we're here.
Yes.
They know we're up here hiding.
Someone knows we're here. But who is that someone? A thief. A thief. Do you think a thief is going to go to the Green Police and say, I was robbing a place the other night and I heard a noise over my head? Do you think a thief is going to do that?
Yes, I think he will.
I think you're crazy.
No. They will catch that thief someday, and he will make a bargain with the Green Police. If you let him go, he will tell them where some Jews are hiding. He's right.
Father, let's get out of here. We can't stay here anymore. Let's go.
Go? Where?
yes, where?
Have we lost all faith? All courage? A moment ago, we thought they'd come for us. We were sure it was the end. But it's not the end. We're alive. We're safe. We thank thee, O Lord our God, that in thine infinite wisdom thou hast again seen fit to spare us. Come on, Anna. The song. The song.
Honor of the sweet celebration.
Around the feast we gather in complete jubilation. Happiest of seasons now is here. Many are the reasons for good cheer. Together we'll weather whatever tomorrow may bring. So hear us rejoicing and merrily voicing the Hanukkah song that we sing. Hey! So hear us rejoicing and merrily voicing the Hanukkah song that we sing.
Saturday, the 1st of January, 1944. Another new year has begun, and we find ourselves still in our hiding place. We have been here now for 1 year, 5 months, and 25 days. It seems that our life is at a standstill. We are all a little thinner. The fondant's discussions are as violent as ever. Mother still does not understand me, but then I don't understand her either. There is one great change, however, a change in myself. I read somewhere that girls of my age don't feel quite certain of themselves, that they become quiet within and begin to think of the miracle that is taking place in their bodies. I think that what is happening to me is so wonderful, not only what can be seen, but what is taking place inside. Each time it has happened, I have a feeling that I have a sweet secret. And in spite of my pain, I long for the time when I shall feel that secret within me again.
It's me.
Wake up, everyone. Beach is here.
white cat, but they all said no.
Look what Meeks brought for us.
A cake?
Oh, hey, I'll go get the plate.
You shouldn't have done it, Nika. Us have used your sugar ration for weeks.
Oh, it's been ages since I've even seen a cake. Not since the one you brought us last year. Remember the one you brought us last year? Oh, I'll never forget it because it said peace in 1943 on it. Peace in 1944.
Well, it has to come sometime. Hello, Mr. Russell.
Here's the knife, Meek. Now, how many of us are there?
Oh, no,
Oh, please, you must.
I couldn't.
Good. That makes 1, 2, 3, 7 of us.
8. 8 is the same number it always is.
Oh, I left Margaret out. I only assume she won't eat any.
Why wouldn't she?
I don't think it will harm her.
Right. I just didn't want her to start coughing again. That's all.
Well, then Mrs. Frank should do the cutting.
But why? It's not just Mrs. Frank's cake, is it me?
Well, she divides things better.
But what is that supposed to mean? Don't I cut everyone's exactly the same, don't I?
Forget it, Charlie.
No, I want an answer, don't I?
Well, yes, you cut exactly the same. Except for Mr. Von Dam gets a little bit more.
Hey, that's why.
Please. You see what a little sugar cake does to us? Goes right to our heads.
Here's a knife, Mrs. Frank.
Thank you. Now, you're sure you won't have any?
Oh, no, I must be leaving soon.
Maybe Mushki went back to our house. They say that cats do that. Do you ever get over there? Do you suppose you could?
The minute I get, I'll try, Pacer, I promise, but I'm afraid with him being gone a week.
Well, now make up your mind, because maybe somebody has found your cat and made a nice meal out of him.
Oh. This cake is delicious, meat, delicious.
Your jerk is in luck to have a girl who can bake like this.
I have to run. Dearon's taking me to a party.
Oh, how heavenly! You must remember now what everyone is spared, and everything you have to eat, and everything, so you can tell us tomorrow.
I'll be sure to give you a full report. Goodbye, everyone.
Just one moment, Pete. I need you to do something for me. One moment.
Honey, where are you going? What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Oh, what's going on?
Bobby says he's going to sell her for a coat. She's crazy about that fur coat.
Is this possible? For her to be worried about something so silly at a time like this?
It's none of your business. And if you say one more thing,
No! No! How dare you? This is my father's going to give it. You didn't give it to me. Let go!
We've had bad news. The people from whom Meek got our ration books have been arrested, so we have had to cut down on our food. Our stomachs are so empty that they rumble and make strange noises, all in different keys. Mr. Von Dom's is deep and low, like a bass fiddle, and mine is high, whistling like a flute. As we all sit around waiting for supper, it's like an orchestra tuning up. It only needs Toscanini to raise his baton, and we'd be off in the ride of the Valkyries. Monday, the 6th of March, 1944. Mr. Crawler is in the hospital. It seems he has ulcers. Him says we are his ulcers. Meep has to run the business, and us too. The Americans have landed on the southern tip of Italy. Father looks for a quick finish to the war. Mr. Dussel was waiting every day for the warehouse man to demand more money. Have I been skipping too much from one subject to another? I can't help it. I feel that spring is coming. I feel it in my whole body and soul. I feel utterly confused. I'm longing, so longing, for everything. For friends, for someone to talk to, someone who understands, someone young, who feels as I do.
You've got nice eyes and a lot of animation.
A little vague, aren't you?
May I come in?
Come in, Mother.
Anna, dear. Mr. Deucel's very impatient to get in here.
Heavens, he spends the entire day here himself.
Anna, are you going in again tonight to see Pater?
That is my intention.
You've already spent a great deal of time in there today.
I was in there exactly twice. Once to get the dictionary, and then the second time for exactly 3/4 of an hour before supper.
Aren't you afraid you're disturbing him?
Mother, I have some intuition.
Then may I ask you this much? Please don't close the door when you go in.
Goodness, you sound like Mrs. Von
No,
Dam.
I don't mean to imply anything improper. It's just that I wish you wouldn't expose yourself to criticism and give Mrs. Von Dam the opportunity to be unpleasant.
Mrs. Von Dam doesn't need an opportunity to be unpleasant.
It's just, we're all worried about Mr. Crawler, and this is just one more thing.
I'm sorry, Mother, but I'm going in to see Pater. I am not going to let Petronella Von Dam spoil our friendship.
Why don't you two talk in the main room? It'd save a lot of trouble. It's hard on Mother having to listen to all those comments by Mrs. Von Dam and not say a word.
Well, why doesn't she say a word? I think it's ridiculous to just sit there and take it.
You don't understand Mother at all, do you? She can't talk back. She's not like you. It's just not in her nature to fight back.
Well, anyway, the only one I ever really worry about is you. I feel awfully guilty about you.
What about?
Well, I feel as though every time I go in to see Pater, I might be hurting you. I know if it were me, I'd be wild. I'd be terribly jealous if it were me.
Well, I'm not.
You mean it, Margaret? If you're not jealous?
Of course I'm jealous. Jealous that you've got something to get up in the morning for. But jealous of you and Pater? No.
Maybe there's nothing to be jealous of. Maybe I'm just taking the place of his cat. Wouldn't you like to come in with us?
I have a book.
May I please get into my room?
Just a moment, dear. Dear Mr. Deucel. Well, here I go. Off to run the gauntlet.
Well, thank you very much.
My God, look at her. I don't know what good it is to have a son. I never see him. Wouldn't care if I killed myself. One moment, Anna. I'd like to have a moment with my son, if you don't mind. Now, Pater, I don't want you staying up all hours tonight. You're a growing boy and you need your rest. Understand?
Now, Anna's going to bed promptly at 9. Aren't you, Anna?
Yes, Mother. Mrs. Von Dam, may we please go in now?
Are you asking me? I didn't know I had anything to say about it.
Listen for the chimes, Anna.
Yes, Mother.
You know, in my day, it was the boys who called on the girls.
You know how young people like to pretend they have secrets. Pater's room is the only place they can talk.
That's not what they called it when I was young.
Oh, aren't they awful? Aren't they just impossible? Treating us as if we were still in nursery.
Don't let it bother you. It doesn't bother me.
Well, I suppose you can't really blame them. They think back to what they were like when they were our age. You don't realize how much more advanced we are than them. And think of all the wonderful conversations we've had. Oh, I was supposed to get you more pictures.
These are fine.
Are you sure you wouldn't like some more? We've just got you some new ones.
Maybe later.
I remember when I got that one. I bet you'll be involved. I 5 ice cream cones. We had all been playing ping pong over at her house, and we would always finish up with ice cream at the Delphi or the Oasis, where Jews were allowed. There would always be a lot of boys. We'd laugh and joke. I wish I could go back to it sometime. For a day, maybe a week. But I know that afterwards I'd be terribly bored. I think more seriously about life then. a journalist. Or something. What about you?
I thought I might go off someplace. Work on a farm or something. Something that doesn't take much brains.
You shouldn't talk that way. You have the most awful inferiority complex.
I know I'm not smart.
That's not true. You're better than me in dozens of different things, like algebra and arithmetic and, well, you're a million times better than me in algebra. You like Margaret, don't you? That's her a lot better than me, from the start.
I don't know.
It's okay. Everyone does. Margaret's so good and kind and beautiful, and I'm not.
I wouldn't say that.
Oh, I know I'm not a beauty. I never have been, and I never shall be.
I don't agree at all. I think you're pretty.
That isn't true.
And another thing, you've changed. From at first, I mean.
I have?
I used to think you were awfully noisy.
And what do you think now? How have I changed?
Well, you're quiet.
I'm glad you don't just hate me.
I never said that.
I bet when you get out of here, you're never going to think of me again.
That's crazy.
When you get back with your friends, you're going to say, now what did I ever see in that Mrs. Quack Quack?
I haven't got any friends.
Oh, Painter, don't be ridiculous. Of course you have friends. Everyone has friends.
Not me. And I don't want them either. I get along all right without them.
We've had bad news. The people from whom Meep got our ration books have been arrested, so we have had to cut down on our food. Our stomachs are so empty that they rumble and make strange noises, all in different keys. Mr. Fondant's is deep and low, like a bass fiddle, and mine is high, whistling like a flute. As we all sit around waiting for supper, it's like an orchestra tuning them. It only needs Toscanini to raise his baton, and we'd be off in the ride of the Valkyries. Monday, the 6th of March, 1944. Mr. Crawler is in the hospital. It seems he has ulcers. Him says we are his ulcers. Meep has to run the business, and us too. The Americans have landed on the southern tip of Italy. Father looks for a quick finish to the war. Mr. Dussel was waiting every day for the warehouse man to demand more money. Have I been skipping too much from one subject to another? I can't help it. I feel that spring is coming. I feel it in my whole body and soul. I feel utterly confused. I'm longing, so longing, for everything. For friends, for someone to talk to, someone who understands, someone young, who feels as I do.
You've already spent a great deal of time in there today.
I was in there exactly twice. Once to get the dictionary, and then the second time for exactly 3/4 of an hour before supper.
Aren't you afraid you're disturbing him?
Mother, I have some intuition.
Then may I ask you this much? Please don't close the door when you go in.
Goodness, you sound like Mrs. Fondant.
No, I don't mean to imply anything improper. It's just that I wish you wouldn't expose yourself to criticism and give Mrs. Fondant the opportunity to be unpleasant.
Mrs. Fondant doesn't need an opportunity to be unpleasant.
It's just, we're all worried about Mr. Crawler, and this is just one more thing.
I'm sorry, Mother, but I'm going in to see Pater. I am not going to let Petronella Fondant spoil our friendship.
Why don't you two talk in the main room? It'd save a lot of trouble. It's hard on Mother having to listen to all those comments by Mrs. Fondant and not say a word.
Well, why doesn't she say a word? I think it's ridiculous to just sit there and take it. Take it.
You don't understand Mother at all, do you? She can't talk back. She's not like you. It's just not in her nature to fight back.
Well, anyway, the only one I ever really worry about is you. I feel awfully guilty about you.
What about?
Well, I feel as though every time I go in to see Pater, I might be hurting you. I know if it were me, I'd be wild. I'd be terribly jealous if it were me.
Well, I'm not.
You mean it, Margaret? If you're not jealous?
Of course I'm jealous. Jealous that you've got something to get up in the morning for. But jealous of you and Pater? No.
Maybe there's nothing to be jealous of. Maybe I'm just taking the place of his cat. Wouldn't you like to come in with us?
I have a book.
May I please get into my room?
Just a moment, dear. Dear Mr. Dussel. Well, here I go. Off to run the gauntlet.
Well, thank you very much.
My God, look at her. I don't know what good it is to have a son. I never see him. Wouldn't care if I killed myself. One moment, Anna. I'd like to have a moment with my son, if you don't mind. Now, Pater, I don't want you staying up all hours tonight. You're a growing boy and you need your rest. Understand?
Now, Anna's going to bed promptly at 9. Aren't you, Anna?
Yes, Mother. Mrs. Fondant, may we please go in now?
Are you asking me? I didn't know I had anything to say about it.
Listen for the chimes, huh?
Yes, Mother.
You know, in my day, it was the boys who called on the girls.
You know how young people try to pretend they have secrets. Pater's room is the only place they can talk.
That's not what they called it when I was young.
Oh, aren't they awful? Aren't they just impossible? Treating us as if we were still in nursery.
Don't let it bother you. It doesn't bother me.
Well, I suppose you can't really blame them. They think back to what they were like when they were our age. Don't realize how much more advanced we are than them. And think of all the wonderful conversations we've had. Oh, I was supposed to get you more pictures.
These are fine.
Are you sure you wouldn't like some more? We've just got you some new ones.
Maybe later.
I remember when I got that one. I bet you'll be involved. I 5 ice cream cones. We had all been playing ping pong over at Hare House, and we would always finish up with ice cream at the Delphi or the Oasis, where Jews were allowed. There would always be a lot of boys. We'd laugh and joke. I wish I could go back to it sometime. For a day, maybe a week. But I know that afterwards I'd be terribly bored. I think more seriously about life now. I'd like to be a journalist. Or something. What about you?
I thought I might go off someplace. Work on a farm or something. Something that doesn't take much brains.
You shouldn't talk that way. You have the most awful inferiority complex.
I know I'm not smart.
That's not true. You're better than me in dozens of different things. Like algebra. And arithmetic. And... well, you're a million times better than me in algebra. You like Margaret, don't you? Liked her a lot better than me. From the start.
I don't know.
It's okay. Everyone does. Margaret's so good and kind and
You've changed. From at first, I mean.
I have?
I used to think you were awfully noisy.
And what do you think now? How have I changed?
Well, you're quiet.
I'm glad you don't just hate me.
I never said that.
I bet when you get out of here, you're never going to think of me again.
It's crazy.
When you get back with your friends, you're going to say, now what did I ever see in that Mrs. Quack Quack?
I haven't got any friends.
Oh, Painter, don't be ridiculous. Of course you have friends. Everyone has friends.
Not me. And I don't want them either. I get along all right without them.
What about me? I consider myself your friend.
If they were all like you, it'd be different.
Painter, have you ever kissed a girl?
Yes. Once.
That picture's crooked. Was she pretty?
Huh?
That girl you kissed.
Oh. I don't know. I was blindfolded. It was a party.
Well, suppose that doesn't really count, does it?
It doesn't with me.
I've been kissed twice. Once, it was by a man that I had never met before. He kissed me on the cheek when I was on the ice and I'd been crying. The second time was a friend of father's, Mr. Coopius. He kissed my hand when he came to visit. I wouldn't say those really counted either, would you?
I wouldn't say so.
I know almost for certain that Margaret would never kiss anyone unless she was engaged to them. And I also know that Mother never even touched a man before Pin, but, well, no. Things are so different nowadays. What do you think? Do you think a girl shouldn't kiss anyone unless she was engaged to them? It's so difficult knowing what to think. Here we are, and don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, and, well, what do you think?
I suppose it depends on the girl. Some girls, anything they do is wrong, but others, well, it wouldn't necessarily be wrong for them.
9 o'clock. I have to go. Good night.
You won't let them stop you coming.
No, of course not. I might read my diary. There's so many things in it I'd like to talk over with you. Some of it's about you.
What kinds of things?
Well, I wouldn't want you to see all of it. I thought you were nothing, just the way you thought about me.
Did you change your mind?
Well, you'll see. By this time, we all know each other so well that if anyone starts to tell a story, the rest can finish it for him. We're having to cut down still further on our meals. What makes it worse, the rats have been at work again. They've carried off some of our precious food. Even Mr. Dussel wishes now that Mushi was here. Thursday, the 20th of April, 1944. Invasion fever is mounting every day. Meek tells us that people outside talk of nothing else. For myself, life has become much more pleasant. I often go to Pater's room after supper. Oh, don't think I'm in love, because I'm not. But it does make life more bearable to have someone with whom you can exchange views. No more tonight. P.S. I must be honest. I must confess that I actually live for the next meeting. Is there anything lovelier than to sit under the skylight and feel the sun on your cheeks and have a darling boy in your arms? I admit now that I'm glad the Fondants had a son and not a daughter. I've outgrown another sweater. That's the third. I'm having to wear Margaret's clothes after all. I'm working hard on my French, and I am now reading La Belle Livresse.
lived here, side by side. We've respected each other's rights, and we've managed to live in peace. Are we going to throw it all away? I know this will never happen again, will it, Mr. Pondon?
No, no.
He steals once, he'll steal again.
Oh, no, Ada, let's be calm. We'll go to our rooms, and we'll sit down quietly afterwards and talk this all out. We can find some way.
No more talk. I want him to go.
You put us on the street?
There are other hiding places.
Closet, a cellar, I know, but we haven't money even left for that.
I'll give you money. Out of my own pocket. I'll give it gladly.
No. Mr. Frank, you said that you could never repay Moody for all that he done when you came to Amsterdam. You said you could never repay him.
If my husband had any obligation to yours, he's paid it over and over.
Ada, I've never seen you like this before. I don't know you.
I should have spoken out long ago.
You cannot be too nice to some people.
Oh, if it wasn't for you, there'd be plenty for all of us.
We don't need the Nazis to destroy us. We're destroying ourselves.
Give this to me.
No.
She'll find you a place.
Mother, you're not putting Painter out, are you? Painter hasn't done anything.
Painter can stay.
I have to go with Father goes.
He's no father to you. That man doesn't know what it is to be a father.
I wouldn't feel right. I have to go.
Very well then.
No. Painter, no! I don't want the food. They can have mine. Just don't send them away yet. It will be daylight soon and they'll be fine.
I don't have to go right now. They can wait for me to find them a place. But I have to insist. He may never come to this room again. He must never come to this room where we store the food. We'll divide it equally. And you can cook it and take it to him.
Oh, no, we haven't sunk it so far that we're going to fight over a handful of rotten potatoes, have we?
It's me.
At this
Mr.
hour?
Must
This
be
is
trouble.
Margot, Anna, me, Peter, Mr. Van
I
Dam.
beg of you, don't let her see us sing like this.
Mr. Frank,
You're keeping all the big ones for yourself. All the big ones. That one there and that one there.
Mr.
This
Frank,
can be our pile and that can be your
Mr.
pile.
Mr.
Frank,
Frank,
did you
Mrs.
hear?
Frank.
The most wonderful news. The invasion has begun. Did you hear me, everyone? Did you hear what I said? The invasion. The invasion has begun.
Where?
It happened early this morning. How do you know? The radio. The BBC, they said they landed just off the coast of British, French, Americans, Dutch, Norwegians, everyone. They said at least 4,000 ships.
It can't be true. Are you sure?
And General Eisenhower, DJ led Congress.
Thank God it's come!
Mr. Frawley, this will be better than any blood transfusion.
Me, where in Normandy did they land? Did they say?
Just Normandy. That's all I know now, but I'll be up the minute I hear more.
What did I tell you? What did I tell
Please, I'm so ashamed.
oh, come on, my God.
It doesn't matter now.
you? Did you hear what Meek said? The invasion has come. We're going to be liberated. It's time to celebrate.
Steal bread from children.
We've all done things we're ashamed of.
Just look at me, the way I treated Mother. So mean and poor to her.
Honolulu.
Oh, it's true, Mother, I was terrible.
Not as bad as me. No one is as bad as me.
Come on, it's time to be happy.
Here, schnapps. L'chaim. Hayden. Oh, Hayden, what's the matter?
Those terrible things. I
No.
said such terrible things.
You were right. You were right.
No, you are our guests. You are our friends.
Come on, Mrs. Frank. You're spoiling the invasion.
all in much better spirits these days. There's still excellent news of the invasion. The best part about it is that I have a feeling that friends are coming. Who knows? Maybe I'll be back in school by fall. The joke is on us. The warehouse man doesn't know a thing, and we are paying him all that money. Wednesday, the 2nd of July, 1944. The invasion seems temporarily to be bogged down. Mr. Crawler has to have an operation, which looks bad. The Gestapo have found the radio that was stolen. Mr. Dussel says they'll trace it back and back to the thief, and it's just a matter of time till they get to us. Everyone is low. Even poor Pim can't raise their spirits. I have often been downcast myself, but never in despair. I can shake off everything if I write. But, and that is the great question, will I ever be able to write well? I want to so much. I want to go on living even after my death. Another birthday has gone by, so now I am 15. Already I know what I want. I have a goal, an opinion.
There it goes again. Don't you hear it? The telephone?
Yes, I hear.
That's 3 times. 3 times in quick succession. It's me. She's trying to warn us of something. She can't get to us, and she's trying to warn us.
Please, please!
I tell you, something has happened, Mr. Frog.
You're wasting your breath.
3 days and we haven't seen me. And today, not a man came to work. This whole building has been silent.
Maybe it's Sunday. We might have lost track of the days.
Use the diary there. What day is it?
I don't want to lose track of the days. It's Friday, August the 4th. Friday, and not a man has come to work. I tell you, Crawler is dead. That's the explanation. Crawler is dead. They've taken over the building, and he's trying to warn us.
She would never telephone us.
Mr. Frank, answer the phone.
No!
I asked you.
You don't have to talk. Just pick it up and listen. See if it's me.
Just answer.
No, I told you no. I'll do nothing that might let anyone know we're in this building.
Mr. Frank's right.
Oh, you don't have to tell us whose side you're on.
If we just wait, patiently, quietly, I believe help will come.
I'm going down. It's too late.
So, we just wait here until we die.
Can't stand it. I'll kill myself. I'll kill
Oh,
myself.
shut up.
I think you'd be glad if I did. I think you'd want me to die.
So whose fault is it we're here anyway? We could be safe in America or Switzerland. But no, you wouldn't leave when I wanted to leave. You couldn't leave your things. You couldn't leave your precious furniture.
Oh, don't touch me.
Look, Peter. The sky. Isn't it lovely? Are the clouds just beautiful? You know what I do when it seems as though I couldn't stand to be cooped up here for one more minute? I think myself out. I think myself on a walk with Pim, somewhere in the mountains where violets and crocus all bloom down the slopes. You know what the best part about thinking yourself out is? You can imagine it any way you like. You can have violets and tulips and chrysanthemums all blooming at the same time. It's funny, I used to take it all for granted. But now I've gone crazy for anything having to do with nature. Haven't you?
I think I've just gone crazy. I think if something doesn't happen soon, if we don't get out of here, I can't take much more of this.
I wish you had a religion, Peter.
No thanks, not me.
Well, I don't mean that you have to be orthodox or believe in heaven and hell and purgatory and things. Any religion, something to believe in. When I think of all that's out there, trees, flowers, seagulls, I think of the dearness of you, Pater, and the goodness of all the people we know. Me, Dirk, Mr. Crawler, the vegetable man, all risking their lives for us every day. I think of these things and I'm not afraid anymore. I find myself and God
And that's fine. But when I begin to think, I get mad. Look at us. 2 years, just waiting for them to come and get us. And all for what?
You're not the only ones that have had to suffer. There have always been people. Sometimes one race, sometimes another, and yet...
That doesn't make me feel any better.
No, that's horrible. It's terrible trying to have anything, especially when people are doing such horrible. But you know what I think? I think the world is just going through a phase, the way I was with Mother. It'll pass. Maybe not for 100 years, but someday. I still believe, despite everything, that people are really good at heart.
Want to see something now, not 100 years from now.
If you just think of it like it's all a great pattern, that we're just a little minute in life. Look at us, going at it like a couple of stupid grown-ups. Look at the sky now, Peyton. It's beautiful. Someday, when we're all outside again, I'm going to see.
Here in fear. Now we can live in hope.
So it seems our stay here is over. They are waiting for us now. They've allowed us 5 minutes to get our things. We can each take a bag and whatever it will hold of clothing, nothing else. So, dear diary, that means I must leave you behind. Goodbye, for a while. P.S. Please me for Mr. Crawler or anyone else. If you should find this diary, will you please keep it safe for me? Because someday, I hope,
There's no more.
I had gone to the country to find food. When I returned, the block was surrounded by police.
We made it our business to find out how they do. It was the thief who told.
It seems strange to say this, that anyone could be happy in a concentration camp. But Anna was happy in that camp in Holland they first took us to. After 2 years shut in these rooms, she could go out into the sunshine and fresh air that she so loved.
A little more.
Yes, thank you. news of the war was good. British and Americans were sweeping through France. We felt sure they would get to us in time. And in September, they told us we were being shipped to Poland. The men to one camp, the women to another. I was sent to Auschwitz. They went to Belsen. In January, we were free, the few of us who were left. But the war was still going on, so it took us a long time to get home. And they sent us here and there behind the lines to keep us safe. And every time the train would stop at a crossing or siding, we'd get out and go from group to group. Where were you? Were you at Belsen, Buchenwald, Mauthausen? Is it possible that you knew my husband? Do you think you saw my wife, my son, my daughter? This is how I found out about my wife's death. And Margaret, and the Von Dahns, and Peter, and Dussel. But Anna, I still had hope. Yesterday I was in Rotterdam. I heard about a woman there who'd been in Belsen with Anna. I know now.
I still believe, despite everything, that people are really good at heart.
She puts me to shame.